A coronation ceremony. Certainly there are more important matters to focus on right now.
A coronation is important to assuage the people's fears and restore their faith, besides which it is the royalists' most fervent wish. A kingdom is only truly as strong as people believe it to be, and right now the world believes Glenbrook weak. The ceremony will be a display to the contrary.
Is this truly the remedy our situation calls for? Right now, I imagine the people care only for where their next hot meal will come from.
Rest assured, sire, House Wolford will see your subjects shan't go hungry. But trust me when I say nothing will hasten Glenbrook's return to her former glory so much as announcing the return of Regna's rightful heir. To win your subjects' hearts, you need do nothing but ascend to your position upon the throne.
You mean sit my royal backside on a fancy chair?
In a manner of speaking. A king's duty is first and foremost serving as his kingdom's symbol. You needn't trouble yourself with day-to-day governance. We will assume that burden. After all, you have only just been crowned.
There will be no ceremony. The people will tell us what they need, and you will listen to them, Patriot. That is my command.
As you wish, King Roland.
How fare things, Huette? Have the relief supplies been given to those who need it?
Well, we had received a sizable shipment of goods from Hyzand, but there are complaints. It seems very few of those goods have made it into the hands of the people.
And why is that?
We aren't certain, though apparently Patriot and the Royalists involve themselves with the distribution.
Damn those Royalists! They cannot be left to their own devices.
Thank you all for helping to determine the extent of the damage to the capital. This information will be invaluable as we proceed with reconstruction. There is also happy word from Castle Wolfort. My Lord Father is awake. They say he is recovering apace and is already up and walking.
Those are glad tidings indeed.
He says he would like to see us and hear of all that has passed while he was taken ill.
Then what are we waiting for? I'll saddle the horses.
Would that we could depart at once, but the messenger brought another piece of news.
Bandits plague the outskirts of the Rosellen village.
Jerome and his folk are there. They can handle a few mangy thieves, surely.
Not according to the messenger. The bandits are proving a formidable foe.
Which is why they have asked us for aid.
Apologies for my tardiness. It's sudden, I know, but I must ask you a favor.
What is it?
I suspect Patriot and his royalists of filching relief supplies.
We've no proof it's them, but the fact remains. The people in most need of those goods are not receiving them.
The matter warrants investigating at the very least, and I would ask for Wolfort's assistance.
I see. Well, we were just discussing what we ought to do next. Allow me to explain the 3 courses of action before us. 1. Return to Castle Wolfort as my Lord Father requests. 2. Defend the Rosellen village from bandits. Or 3. Remain in the capital to investigate the Royalists.
Lord Simon has recovered. What splendid news. If I could only go to him myself and thank him for all House Wolfort has done. But I cannot leave the capital in the throes of a possible scandal. Too many hold the royal family in contempt as it is.
That may be the case, but now that Lord Simon has awoken, someone must make sure he is healthy and apprise him of recent events. I would go to Castle Wolfort, Lord Serenoa, if it pleases you.
My heart breaks for the Rosellen village. Let me go to its defense, even if I must go alone.
I cannot allow that. It's far too dangerous a task for one person.
Well, I would have the Wolfort soldiers with me, of course. Besides, do you recall our first meeting?
Of course I do. You were being assailed by rogues at the port.
If you hadn't been there, who knows what would have become of me. But I am not as weak now as I was then. I am stronger, enough that I shall bring no dishonor to House Wolfort's name. My lord, have faith in me. Let me do this.
Very well.
It seems best that Benedict, Frederica, and I each attend to these pressing matters, separately.
Indeed, but the rest of us cannot be in 3 places at once. We can only choose one path to take. Bring the scales of conviction.
Lord Saranoa.
Even so,
Listen, lad. I feel this in my gut.
ah, yes? Uh-huh. I don't know what to do.
It is time to cast our votes. We have 3 options before us. Return to the Wolfort domain, depart to the Rosellan village, or stay in the capital. Approach the scales of conviction with your token at the ready.
I agree wholeheartedly.
You have my vote.
You won me over.
The scales of conviction will illuminate the path we've chosen. The way forward is decided. We remain in the capital with Roland and investigate the truth behind the Royalist plot. I shall remain in the capital and help King Roland investigate the Royalists.
I'm in your debt, my friend. Having you by my side is a tremendous boon.
Then I shall venture to the Wolford domain and make our report to Lord Simon in your stead.
And I shall see to the Rosellen village. I shan't be gone long, worry not.
Then this is farewell for now. Frederica, Benedict, until our reunion in the capital.
With peace tentatively restored to the Crown City, House Wolfort's members scatter to the far corners of the domain. Benedict returns to Castle Wolfort alone. Likewise, Frederica tends to her own in the Rosellen village. Serenoa and King Roland, meanwhile, begin investigating a cabal of royalists, bent on regaining their lost power and influence.
Why would you take what little aid the crown has given us? Have you no heart?
Watch your words. The royal family entrusted House Consor with the minutiae of daily governance, and our priorities have changed. These provisions were deployed without any care, and are to be collected and redistributed in line with the royal family's wishes.
But we've already eaten the food. Our children were starved, sir.
I accept your confession. You shall answer for the crime of embezzling from the crown.
You're not serious.
We're sorry.
Don't apologize to them, they're royalist scum. And they can't take away what they didn't give in the first place. We know Hyzant sent the provisions.
The boy's right. House Wolford arranged for them. You've no right to reclaim what you never owned in the first place.
You pathetic peasants. Do you not see that they are the root of your suffering?
I see it as thanks to them that you nobles still have a kingdom in which to parade around and lord your station over us.
Neither the Royalists nor the Crown have done aught to help us. You stood idle while Esfrost invaded us, while they ruled us with an iron fist.
She speaks true, and even worse, you nobles rushed to Gustadolf's side. Yet here you stand, with the gall to accuse us of crimes against the crown. You seek to hide your own treachery.
No.
I'd sooner bend the knee to Esfrost all over again than have a traitor to the crown darken my door.
Not content with embezzlement, you would add treason to your list of crimes. Crimes for which you shall now pay.
Ah!
No!
Mom! Dad!
You fiend! There's nothing noble about you! We've suffered enough. It's time we fought to keep what's ours.
Kill every last one of these traitorous curs.
What do you think you're doing? Cease this madness at once, Patriot! I beg you, calm yourselves!
It's Lord Wolford himself!
Why have you turned your weapon on the people? Explain yourself.
They are not our people. They are filthy insurrectionists who would overthrow the royal family.
Stay with me, please! Mother! Father!
Mama! No!
So you commit murder in their name?
There are Esfrosti sympathizers in our midst who must be reminded of the royal family's primacy. I will not see the throne usurped again.
Lord Svarog, you've been summoned to the capital with regard to the death snow. How long do you intend to defy the Archduke's orders?
I've no time for his trifling inquiries, now that Glenbrook has been wrested from our hold. I fear an assault on the duchy is imminent. We must fortify Twins Gate.
Such an order would be mine to give, not yours.
Begone! I was a fool to think you could protect the duchy's lands.
The Archduke shall render his judgment.
Damn his judgment, and everything it has wrought! Leaving that fool Thalys in charge of Glenbrook brought this upon us.
I shall pass your words on to him, then.
See that you do, messenger boy. And let him know that if he wishes for me to follow his orders, he will speak the truth and nothing but.
The insurrection is quelled, for now. Our physicians report that townsfolk and royalists alike suffered grave wounds in the fighting.
I take solace only in the fact that no lives were lost. You see the same thing as I, do you not, Serenoa? Patriot and his sympathizers seek to take back by force the power they fear they've lost.
They were some of the first to bend to Gustadolf's will. I reckon that guilty conscience is why they're lashing out now.
And the people are with them. Resentment against my family grows by the day. I pray I can bring them back into the fold, but the odds are against me.
You put it lightly, my king. The strength of Patriot and his ilk lie in their connections. Though it pains me to say it, you'll not rule the kingdom without their cooperation.
We must work to change their minds.
Nay. Time lost is trust lost. We must be swift and decisive. We must seize Patriot and his conspirators at once. I shall banish them from the kingdom myself. I expect we'll have little trouble once we've made an example of Patriot.
Stem the tide of this bloody river we find ourselves in, eh?
Cordelia's state is an impediment to your plan. The royal physicians, under Patriot's command, tend to her now. They're like as not to take her hostage if you act rashly.
That is why we shall seize him in the streets, where he'll not have Cordelia to use as a shield.
And people will see the royal family will not submit to an aggrieved royalist. Yes, this may work.
Lend me your aid, Serenoa. I've not put my title as king, but rebuilding Glenbrook will take might.
I have every confidence in your abilities, my king. As does House Wolfort. We stand with you.
Thank you, dear friend.
Pray spare us a crumb. I beg you.
Never! You deserve to starve after kissing the frosty boots that crushed our necks!
Says the man who bellowed "Long live the Duchy" every time he saw one of them walk past.
There were scores of us! You plan to report me and half the kingdom for that?
This frosty rule has broken our kingdom. And so help me, I shall see it rebuilt under my rule.
You misunderstand, surely. Why must I pay so much to simply reopen my stall?
We know that you did business with the Isfrosti army. They made you quite wealthy, as I understand it, and Glenbrook saw none of your ill-gotten gains.
Nonsense! We were free to do business as we pleased under the duchy's rule.
A bold statement. One that could be easily taken as criticism of the crown. It sounds to me as though you wish to incite an insurrection.
I would never. Please, I can pay. Just let me pay and be done with it.
Of course you can pay. That is the duty of every subject in Glenbrook. But what of your words, which wound the royal family so?
A tithe, then, for our beloved and benevolent royal family. Pray deliver it to them, good sir.
I see you've learned your lesson. King Roland will be glad of it.
That shameless cur!
I can bear no more of this, Your Majesty.
Nor can I. Seize Patriot!
Ah, Your Majesty. Sent the Wolfort dogs to sniff around at me, did you?
Nay, I saw all of it with my own eyes. You shall be punished for invoking the royal family's name to line your own pockets.
And then who will help you rule your precious kingdom? House Wolfort? I think not. You're a fool if you think you can rule hand in hand with your vassals. You are being used, but are too blind to see it.
I would do no such thing.
Aye. Everything is of my own will, and mine alone.
Your will. You're as naive as I feared. Glenbrook cannot be ruled with the iron fist of the Isfrosti, nor the religious zeal of the Hyzantians. No, Glenbrook must be ruled with careful mediation between the royal family and its loyal subjects, and that is why you need us. King Regna and Prince Franny understood this so well, I assumed their aptitude to be hereditary.
You dare suggest I am not fit for the throne?
Suggested? I know it to be true. Why else would I dirty my hands if not to make you face the truth? You have lost the ability to distinguish between friend and foe, and now House Wolfort shall usurp the throne.
Hold your tongue, or I shall have you charged with treason.
Surrender quietly, or be cut down where you stand.
If only you had known your place. But you just had to follow your full convictions. You have poisoned King Roland's mind long enough, and now you must die for it. So help me, I will open your eyes to the truth, my king.
Brother, I come to your aid.
Cordelia, what are you doing here?
I overheard the healers talking amongst themselves. The people suffer at Patriot's hand. I cannot lie abed in the face of such cruelty.
Are you well enough to fight?
Am I not a member of the royal family? I will fight for our people in any condition.
I see it is obstinance that runs in the family. So be it. Clearly, you've outlived your usefulness.
You are a true hero, Cordelia. We would be lost without you.
I did what needed to be done.
My fair people, Patriot's tyranny ends here. Know that he suffered a punishment befitting his crimes. Now we can restore our home in peace. Pray, good sir, why do you quake with fear? No harm can befall you now.
Thank you, my king. I shall pay what tax I owe in due course. You have my word. Please, have mercy.
Whatever do you...
Ah ha ha ha! Welcome home, King Roland!
gaze upon what your flight from the kingdom hath wrought.
Silence! Esfrost's aggression is the cause of this.
Or so you'd like us to believe. Did you see how ruthlessly he cut down his trusted advisor, Patriot?
King Roland is a fearsome tyrant indeed.
Esfrost was never so cruel.
I promise you, they will understand in time.
I pray you're right.
Is that not the girl whose parents were attacked by Patriot's men?
Attacked and gravely wounded, yes. I fear there's naught I could say that would make amends for what happened. How fare your parents?
What do you think you're doing?
Why? Why would you do that?
What in the...
Hold! I beg your forgiveness. She's not been herself ever since our parents passed.
But there were no casualties.
Not officially. The physicians refused to admit them. They tended to the wounds of the Royal Guard and Princess Cordelia first. We couldn't staunch the bleeding on our own.
No!
I had no idea.
Liar! You told them to do it, didn't you? You killed our parents!
I didn't. I would never order such a thing.
This is all your fault! You should never have come back! At least tell me why. Tell me why my mother and father had to die.
I don't know what to... They...
Please forgive us. We won't speak ill of the royal family ever again. We'll do as we're told. Heavens forbid, should we commit a crime, I shall bear the punishment. Just promise to leave my dear sister alone.
This isn't your fault.
She's right. You brought none of this upon yourselves. I bid you lay the blame at my feet.
Do not dwell on this, my king. You could not have known.
Pray let me remain Roland to you if no one else. The crown rests heavy upon my brow.
Of course. Then let us speak as equals. As friends.
That is all I ask. Vengeance blinded me, Serenoa. I was willing to do whatever it took to settle the score and save my sister. I thought defeating Esfrost would be enough. That I could restore both my kingdom and people to their former glory.
And you have, true to your word.
But at what cost? Those children are orphans now. Who knows how many others have suffered the same fate? How many innocent lives will be lost? How many people will I fail to protect?
This is not your burden to bear alone. I was there beside you, and yet the outcome was the same.
Bear it I must, else I will be doomed to repeat it. Where you offer comfort, I see only excuses. Yet I remain every inch the fool, for my hatred of Esfrost grows with each passing second. It is those dogs who must answer for this. Our people would still be whole if not for the misbegotten war they started.
And you have lost your family too. I cannot deny you the rage you feel.
You were always kind to me. In my heart of hearts, I know Glenbrook cannot truly be fixed. Perhaps it was broken from the start. We must rebuild our nation from the ground up if we are to set things right.
How do you mean?
We need something the people can rally around. Like the Hyzantians and their goddess.
And we have you, King Roland.
Yes, I thought so too. But I alone, nay, not even the royal line can.
Forgive me, Your Highness, but Frederica and Benedict have returned.
I think it would be wise to finish this conversation with the others.
I feel the same. Thank you for allowing me to speak my mind.
You needn't thank me. Rather, are you sure you're...
All is well. Trust me. So long as you are by my side.
Roland, Benedict, and Frederica regroup back in the capital. But what they experienced while they were away could very well alter the course of destiny itself.
What is so important you wish to speak to me alone?
Lord Serenoa, promise me you will remain calm. I come bearing grave news. Your Lord Father has passed.
What? But how? I thought he was recovering.
It was not the illness that took him, my lord. He was assassinated.
Assassinated?
Forgive me. I was unable to stop the villain.
Who would send someone to kill my father? And why?
It was Patriot of the Royalists. He believes House Wolford a hindrance to King Roland's rule. No doubt he meant to kill both you and your father in one fell swoop.
A hindrance?
I can assure you His Majesty knew nothing of this. But disclosing the truth would put us in a precarious position. At worst, it could lead to civil war. It is best you hide the fact of Lord Simon's assassination.
You want me to say he succumbed to his illness? How can I pay respect to my father with such lies on my lips?
My lord, your father entrusted me with one final order.
What did he say?
He asked me to tell you the truth.
The truth about what?
I ask you to listen calmly, my lord. You are not Lord Simon's son by blood. Your true father is King Regna. His Majesty sired a child out of wedlock with the Lady Destra. That child is you.
What?
Lady Destra lived in the Crown City, but she was not a woman of means. Someone of her position could never hope to marry a king. Or indeed keep her head once the Royalists discovered what had happened. Lord Simon knew this, and so he welcomed her and the baby in her belly to House Wolford. He and I were the only two who knew her secret. We had intended to carry it with us to our graves. But in his last moment, Lord Simon bade me give this to you.
royal signet of Glenbrook.
King Regna entrusted it, and you, to Lord Simon, as proof of your place in the royal line.
Is this truly who I am?
I know it may be difficult to accept.
No, I believe it. I have never known you to speak false to me. Thank you for telling me what my father wished me to know.
You would still call him father?
He raised me as his own. And besides, I must keep up the pretense in front of the others. Especially in front of Roland. This stays between us, Benedict. We must keep the truth of my parentage and this ring safe.
Of course, my lord. As you command.
Serenoa, I would speak with you before we meet with the others.
Is something the matter? I was led to believe the Rosellan village escaped all but unscathed.
Pray, look at this.
A book?
We recovered it from a band of brigands. It once belonged to the Esfrosti archives. It was authored by one Orlea, my mother. Inside is the truth about the Roselle. Nay, about all Norzelia.
The truth? How would your mother have that knowledge?
The Rosellan people have long passed down the secret of the salt. My mother was a chosen keeper of that history. In ancient times, the Roselle lived in the southernmost reaches of Norzelia, in a place called Centralia. It is said Centralia was on the shore of a vast expanse of salt water they called the sea. Back then, the Norzelia we know was at the bottom of that sea, but a cataclysm dried up all the water, and thus this land came to be. The salt crystallized and sank into the earth, the very earth we now walk upon.
Salt beneath our feet.
After the cataclysm, only one small lake of salt remained. War raged on and on as people fought to control it. The Roselle tried to stop the fighting by digging up a giant pillar of salt to show everyone the secret they had long kept. But Hyzant, whose power over Norzelia came from controlling the lake and the salt it produced, could not allow the truth to get out. They captured the Roselle, branded them criminals who tried to seize control of the salt for themselves, and confined them to the lake.
And what of the pillar?
Hyzant stole it and hid it, inside the very statue of the goddess that towers over the source.
How can you be certain?
During the uprising, my mother broke the statue and recovered a fragment of the pillar within.
The salt crystal found in the Rosellan village. Incredible. If what you say is true, the teachings are a lie. This will shake Hyzant to its very foundations.
And we would be able to free the Roselle from their imprisonment at the source.
With so much at stake, we must be careful in what we do now. Frederica, I would ask for more time to think this through.
Of course. I have every faith in House Wolford. And in you.
That is the extent of what happened during our various endeavors. The passing of my Lord Father, the Royalist scandal, and the book that revealed the truth about the Roselle and the salt. It is time we consider what we shall do to overcome these obstacles facing us.
I still cannot believe how quickly Lord Simon's condition worsened.
It is most devastating. Serenoa, did your father say nothing else to you? Before he
He bade me lead House Wolfort well.
I see. Then we must all do what we can to help you honor that request.
Your Majesty, what do you plan to do about the Royalists who misappropriated supplies?
As far as I've been able to discern, those involved acted out of greed and self-interest. They must all be punished. Nothing less than exile from the kingdom or execution will suffice.
But there are those among them who support the Glenbrook line. Will that not impact your governance?
Perhaps. But to pardon their crimes would kindle the people's ire. We must make an example of them. To appease the people. To make clear the consequences of engaging in such foolhardy behavior.
Did something else happen in the capital, King Roland?
Nothing you need concern yourself with. But I must say, I was shocked to learn of that Rosellan legend. Do you suppose the contents of that book could be true?
The part about their homeland, Centralia, that sits upon a vast saltwater sea? That of the untapped salt crystals beneath Norzelia? Or that, in order to monopolize the salt trade, Hyzant fabricated the Roselle's sins? That the pillar of salt Hyzant stole from the Roselle is hidden within the statue of the goddess? If any of it is true, it would turn everything we know on its head. It would mean the teachings of the Holy State are not but lies.
It does sound unbelievable, but we have already seen part of this legend for ourselves.
The crystal from the Rosellan village?
That crystal is a fragment from the pillar within the statue of the goddess. One my mother obtained during the uprising.
It fits perfectly.
Apparently, Lady Orlea penned the book detailing the legend for Frederica.
She did. She enchanted it so no one could open it, but left me the key to break the spell. This pendant.
I doubt a mother would go to such lengths to lie to her daughter.
Then we agree the legend contains at least a seed of truth.
Your Majesty, we have received word that the survivors of the Duchy's army are amassing.
What? Where?
At the Grand Norzellian mines. But we cannot be sure what they are doing. None of our scouts have returned.
These frosty dogs. We will speak later, Serenoa. First, we must put down whatever the Duchy is planning at the mines. I need you and your people beside me.
Of course. We shall ready ourselves for the battle at once.
Extraction is nearly finished. We've secured the amount we were told. Seems such a waste to just leave the rest.
Don't think Archduke Gustadolf gives two shites. Hurry it up. We need to be done here before Glenbrook catches on to us.
Sir.
Roland and House Wolfort succeed in reclaiming Glenbrook, but they cannot rest easy, for new dilemmas threaten to tear the kingdom apart. For one, the secret of Serenoa's birth come to light with Lord Simon's passing. Meanwhile, the newly crowned King Roland struggles to reconcile his ideals with reality after punishing the Royalists. Finally, there's the truth about the Roselle and the untapped salt crystals buried within the earth, revealed in a book to Frederica from her late mother. None of these revelations have an easy solution. As all parties discuss the matters, they receive word that the survivors of the Isfrosti army are gathering at the Grand Norzellian mines. Forced to put all else aside to focus on driving out their foe, Serenoa and his comrades steel themselves for battle.
The remnants of the Isfrosti forces are gathering at the Grand Norzellian mines. Or perhaps I should say they are rallying there, preparing to defend it to the last.
Something tells me you're right. Gustadolf may have used Lord Dragan's murder as pretext for invading Glenbrook. Yet I believe his true aim was to seize control, not of our kingdom, but of the mines.
Once Glenbrook fell to them, Esfrost did indeed continue mining operations, with notable zeal. Apparently, they transported huge shipments of what they excavated to the Duchy, too.
You mean iron ore?
One would assume as much, but we do not know for certain. They say only a chosen few were allowed to have anything to do with the mining or transport.
Odd, ain't it? Granted, the iron from the Grand Norzelian mines is supposed to be decent stuff.
But the Duchy has access to plenty of other iron mines of comparable quality. They've certainly no need to go to such pains to obtain resources from this one.
You reckon there's something special about it?
What my mother wrote of must be true.
I've returned from scouting the Grand Norzelian mines. There were no signs of miners or couriers anywhere. The enemy's numbers do not appear that great, but the soldiers were occupied with some task within the mine. I cannot say exactly how many they are.
Thank you, Hewitt. Well done. Well, there you have it. The Esfrosti army is scheming something at the mines. Whatever they are planning, we cannot allow them to continue unchallenged.
Then let us reclaim the Grand Norzelian mines. And in doing so, we shall discover the Duchy's aims in due course.
Glenbrook has withdrawn from the sanctions and reopened trade with us.
King Roland is truly a man of his word.
Furthermore, during the battle for the Crown City, our forces sustained nary a scratch, while the Esfrosti were all but crushed. We could not have asked for a more auspicious outcome.
An outcome that would not have been possible without the Elfric we supplied them. Still, Minister Serenoa and House Wolford must be given credit for aiding in our victory.
Minister Exham, how strange to hear you lavish such praise upon another.
I am only speaking truth. Leaving Minister Serenoa in Glenbrook's hands is unwise.
I agree. As one of the Saintly Seven, he belongs here with us.
Of course. We shall bring him under our thumb. The Holy One has plans for the young lord. Making him our creature has the added benefit of bringing his entire domain under Hyzantian rule.
But I doubt His Majesty will be so willing to part with him.
Oh, indeed. And yet King Roland owes us a great debt, which will be all the greater after we help him rebuild the Crown City. We will so overwhelm him with generosity, he will be unable to refuse us anything.
So, you mean to seize Glenbrook as well, Minister Edor? Somehow I am unsurprised.
I seek nothing more than to spread the goddess's grace and wisdom to Glenbrook and even Esfrost, until her divine protection shelters Norzelia in its entirety. That is what the goddess desires, and therefore, what the Hierophant desires as well.